Hello everyone and welcome back to my show, Anti-Human. It is Friday, the 15th of April, tax time, tax season. And in show number 2, I decided we would talk about the Colorado no vote. It's a big issue, big topic, and I think it needs discussing. Now, a lot of people, when you see me looking off this direction, just so you know, I'm actually staring at my screen. I got 2 screens here, and one of them has the agenda on it. The current electoral process for the Republican committee and the Democratic committee is what it is. I don't like it. I think it's wrong, but it's a party. They're both parties. The Republican Party sets their rules. It's almost like going to a private golfing association or becoming a member of the Freemasons. You know, people don't just get let in to vote. And to be quite honest, I've done my research on this. If you're a registered independent, you don't have a say in the election of a Democrat or a Republican. And I know I'm kind of throwing that in your face, but for years, I went off what my family was. They were Democrats, and I said, well, I got to be a Democrat because they are. Damn, was I wrong. I'm a human being. Flesh and blood, independent, one of a kind. How can I align myself with these 2 groups? And how can these 2 groups create such evil? When you really think about it, think about Chad County back in the George Bush, Al Gore election. Think about what transpired after that election. 9/11, 2 wars. I won't even go into that right now. We're talking about Colorado here, but if you want change, look at it this way. Positive change is being an independent. Over 50% or right at 50% of America is independently registered. So if 50% happens to be independently registered and all 50% decided they wanted to vote outside of the parties, which they have no right voting into and to begin with, they would elect the next president. And I kind of think that's where Donald Trump is headed with what he's saying. You know, he ran as a Republican, and he's pretty much exposed who they are. He even got me, believe it or not, to go and do some research and figure it all out. And now that I know what it is, I look back and say, wow, I never had a say to begin with. And Republicans got on TV and stated, you don't have a say in the election. In fact, I'm going to play a video right now.
Very unhappy and very angry. I think you're looking at a different situation. I realize these have been the rules, but the last time these rules were put in place was 1976. It's been a long time since then.
Yeah, and they're still there. Yeah, that's a problem. The media has created the perception that the voters will decide the nomination, and that's the concept. That's the conflict here.
We feel like we live in a democratic society. What you're telling me is it's not a democratic society, and your votes don't necessarily matter because it's a democratic representation, correct?
No, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to say is that we're just one of the political parties. There's many political parties, but political parties choose their nominee, not the general public, contrary to popular belief.
Then why bother holding the primaries?
That's a very good question.
So, my only advice to everybody that's out there right now is divorce yourself from the 2 parties and turn yourself into an independent voter and start voting for independents. Just completely and totally ignore who's running Republican and who's running Democrat. Just ignore it because you know you don't have a say. And if you become a party affiliate, you're basically throwing yourself in the trash because you're saying, I'm going to become a party affiliate before I've ever seen who's going to be in this party. You don't know if the person coming into the party is going to align with you. The only way you can make yourself align with people is to align yourself as an independent with independent politicians. And then you have a say. Then you can change America. Then you can vote a president in. And I know there's pundits out there that will tell me that I'm so wrong and that it's not a sham and everything's set up the way it's set up for a certain reason. Well, Wall Street's failing. The housing crisis was a complete and total disgrace to America. The Federal Reserve sucks money out of the economy like taking the pizza off the table, the fat guy taking the pizza off the table, and no one gets to eat. No one gets to make loans to buy new things. We go to the banks and the bank lends out our money and we don't get paid interest. They lend our money out. They get the interest payments. You put in $100 into a bank, they can withdraw, they can loan out 90, and you get nothing for it. None of that's fair. That money you put into that bank was your energy. Money is liquid energy. It's basically a consolidated form of your labor turned into a piece of paper that you can go exchange for things for someone else's labor. And when you take that money and you hand it over to a bank and they lend it out for someone to go buy products to create brand new labor, they owe you, the individual, for the labor you put out. Not the bank. The bank is a middleman. But see, the way the system is set up, the way what we have elected with Democrats and Republicans over the last 50 years, this system we have in place is anti-human. Anti-human. And now I want to go to the demonstrators. Okay? I don't care who is running for president. No person has the right to go put a muzzle on someone else. You let people speak. You don't go stand in a crowd of people who support a certain candidate and scream at the top of your lungs, spit on them, walk circles around them. That is anti-free speech. That is anti-American. That is anti-human. And if you are a half-wit that goes out and does stuff like that, you only show the side to everybody else they need to see, and that is the anti-human side. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Read your religious text. Read your Bible. Now, I want to end this talking about Colorado with a couple of clips. One of them is he is a delegate for Colorado, and I'm going to show the clip of him not being able to go into the convention and vote. He was a delegate. He was elected a delegate. He should get his vote regardless of what it is. Regardless. And then I'm going to show a long-term Republican and his registration for the Republican committee, and he sets it on fire. Many of you may have seen this, you may not. The videos are online. All I'm doing is just showing a small portion of it because these people were disenfranchised.
What's your last name again, sir?
Lindsay, Lindsey.
First name?
Larry.
J.K.
Voter info.
I don't even show you registered in Douglas County.
I am and have been for 15 years. Fuming over what happened this morning down in Colorado Springs with the GOPe. This is a copy of my Republican Party registration. And Republican Party, take note. I think you're going to see a whole lot more of these. I've been a Republican all my life, but I will never be a Republican again.
They were Republicans. Okay. See, the problem, now here's the problem with the Republican and the independent thing. When you're an independent, you don't have a say, all right? That's understandable. But by God, when you're part of the party, when you are a member of the party, you're supposed to get a say. And therein lies the problem. When you cancel elections, you cancel the people that were in your party. Because out of the 4 people that are running, Republicans, they got their say of who they want. So, yeah, if you go ahead and push all the independent voters out and the Democratic voters out, and you're left with these Republican voters, they should still get their say in that party. But see, this is the world around you. Everybody needs to start paying attention to signs. Signs are so important because what do we do on our personal lives or within our personal lives? You know, if we go on a date, like if I'm going on a date with the girl, I pay attention to her feet. Is she crossing them? Is she aiming her knees away from me? Is she ignoring me? Does she seem uncomfortable? Or is she smiling, laughing, and loving the things that I say? All of them little signs add up. Well, you don't throw signs away in the real world, in the reality we live in. You don't just take the signs and go, well, you know, so what if Walmart buys all their stuff from China? Big deal. So what? It's just a sign. Who cares? Yeah. And then manufacturing moves to China. And then you ask yourself, oh, I got laid off. I wonder why Walmart bought so much stuff from China that they laid me off. It's all Walmart's fault. No, it's not. The sign was all the way down to that Made in China symbol on the product that you bought over and over and over and over and over because you wanted to save $1.50. Your lack of paying the person next door who wanted a raise to put his kids in school, to give them proper health care, and, you know, buy that new truck that he wanted to go back and forth to work because his old truck was tearing up on him. You didn't want to pay that extra $1.50 for the wrench. You wanted to pay $1.50 less for this cheap-ass wrench that came from China. And what you didn't realize was, when you pull the stuff off them shelves, Walmart restocks what was there. And if it's from China, that's where they go to restock. If you don't buy that stuff on them shelves, it turns into a clearance aisle. And then Walmart decides, well, maybe we should buy some American stuff because the Americans ain't buying the Chinese stuff anymore. It's as simple as that, and it's all signs, and it all leads back to this Colorado primary. Signs are everywhere. Pay attention. Colorado canceling the vote and the other 5 states that canceled the vote is a sign. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you the person that's the best and the person that's not, but I will tell you this. You better wake up, America. You've been watching Annie Human. Hope you enjoyed the show. And please leave a like and subscribe, and I really hope to see you next time. Bye now.